You may look like a bride, but you will never bring your family honor.
Living in ancient China within a wealthy and noble family, Fa Mulan is required to bring honor to her family by marrying a man of status and virtue. But Mulan does not feel prepared to take on this life. Although she attempts to cheat and fake her way to earn the respect of the matchmaker, her plans go horribly, and when I say horribly, I mean horribly wrong, leaving Mulan feeling defeated and unsure of who she really was. In this moment, she felt there was a discrepancy between who she was and what was expected of her, expressing her thoughts in the song Reflection. Hello, I'm Isaac from Wotso Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people. I'm all about spreading the magic of Disney, so to do that today, for my third Disney music breakdown, I'm going to be explaining the significance, inner workings, and what we learn from every detail during the song Reflection. Reflection is a song that describes the journey of a girl to accept she is incapable of being anyone but herself. Up until this point in Mulan, we learned from the song Honor to Us All and the experience with the matchmaker that for Mulan to fulfill her duties in ancient Chinese society, she must become a childbearing, silent, efficient, docile, and beautiful bride. Even though Mulan is a strong, smart, and resourceful girl who doesn't feel excited or committed to that lifestyle. Throughout Mulan's life, though, she's been willing to make attempts to conform to those expectations to bring honor to her beloved family. But now that her destiny to become an honorable bride seems to be destroyed, and she has been told she can't fake who she is, Mulan must make sense of her situation. When the music for Reflection begins, we see Mulan returning from the matchmaker with her horse Khan. Her father comes out to greet her and smiles at her, but Mulan turns away, showing she is ashamed and disappointed of her actions. After walking away and bringing Khan to the water trough, Mulan looks down at herself in the reflection in the water and begins to come to terms with the fact a disparity really exists between what will bring her family honor and who she knows she is. Mulan acknowledges she can never be what everyone expects of her. Now that she understands that disingenuous exterior doesn't fool anyone, Mulan begins to remove her jewelry. She is disassembling the facade she has built up. When she sees her parents, though, we can tell they are saddened by the events of the day, but Mulan continues to question her purpose in life. Being a submissive wife and mother may not be what she was created to do. As she walks through this barrier into the garden, she is transitioning into the realization that she isn't like what everyone wants her to be. By moving towards her rejection of the life her family has placed upon her, Mulan then releases the cricket her grandmother gave her for her matchmaking. We also see pink petals floating behind and around Mulan, possibly symbolizing how she is a free woman. Similarly to how the petals are free from the flowers they were a part of, Mulan is a woman who cannot help but be detached from being a beautiful bride to be. Unfortunately, Mulan knows, though, being herself and giving up what her family desires would break their hearts. As she walks away, we see where she had traveled the pink petals are landing, showing us although she's connected with the idea of freedom and being disconnected, she currently cannot sustain that rebellion, likely because of her ties to her family. Mulan desires to bring honor to her family, but in the process, she is closing herself off from who she truly is, which is visually seen through the flowers that have not yet bloomed across the pond. Although Mulan is a beautiful woman who would likely be what her family wants her to become, she cannot recognize herself when she sees herself in the pond, which is why she turns away. Mulan despises what she has to pretend to be, and the fact that she has to hide the strong woman within her. That is why she looks up and questions why this frustrating discrepancy exists in her life, almost as if she's looking up and calling out to her ancestors or gods. In this tumultuous point of her internal journey, she then retreats to her ancestor's shrine. As Mulan walks into the shrine, she is met with her face glimmering on the reflective headstones, solidifying in her mind she and everyone else will always be able to see the false individual she attempts to portray to the world, which means she can never bring her family honor as they have asked of her. In hopes of finding guidance and solidarity, Mulan then prays to her ancestors for help, but that will have to come later with Mushu. With all of these daunting realizations in mind, Mulan wonders at what point in her life will she finally be able to be transparent with the part of herself she has kept imprisoned for her entire life. Finally, Mulan removes half of her makeup, showing visually how she is split between honor and herself, but then she removes all of her makeup and turns and stares at herself in the reflections. Mulan is scared and uncertain of her future, for she is unable to know what a life will hold for her if she cannot become a suitable wife and uphold her family honor. Even though Mulan is uncertain in her life, she still is brave enough to let the rest of her facade fade away as she lets her hair down. Then, Mulan ventures out of the shrine to sit amongst the gorgeous pink flowers that are soon to be pointed out by her father to be a symbol of her ability to still be her true self in her own time. As a person who was born in 1998, I have learned to feel very proud of Mulan being released in my birth year. The older I get, the more I learn to love and appreciate the complex character of Mulan, the grandness of the film that rivals The Lion King, and the amazing heart throughout this story. And one place I have always connected to the emotion and meaning of Mulan is within the song Reflection. I always kind of noticed it is a short song compared to other Disney songs, and that's because the filmmakers cut down the original scene to be smaller and more intimate, but I still believe it effectively communicates what it sets out to show. The turmoil, conflict, inadequacy, and strain within Mulan is clear, and I always feel desperate for her to find her place in the world. But of course, to find that, she would need to bravely set forth on an adventure to save her father in the war for China. Fun people, I hope you enjoyed the third episode of the Disney Music Breakdown series. It's because of all of you who watch and support these episodes and to all of the generous patrons on Patreon that I can continue to make these videos. And speaking of Patreon, I have some news to share. Coming this month to Wotso Videos patrons will be an all-new monthly podcast based around discussing my Disney film opinions with my pal Jack Kendall from the YouTube channel DSNY Newscast. I'm going to be releasing my first episode on my thoughts on 2D animation versus 3D animation next week, along with other rewards and new tiers that I'll be talking about soon. To donate to my Patreon to get access to this podcast, which will need to be named soon, or any of the other reward tiers like the Wotso Discord server, you can check out the link in the description. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me and my Disney content, and have a magical day.